Hey there, Silver Tongue Devil here, and today we're going to be looking at Sigils, and it's a Saturday, and it's Sigils Saturday. First off, we're going to start with a little bit of runner, just to get me warmed up. I have got a beanie to take on as far as Purgatory's concerned, and JJ wants me to put some times in, and I'm happy to oblige. Welcome to all of those just joining us. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have a quick spin through Purgatory. This is part of Jonathan Jimbo, or Elite Jonathan, depending on how you know him, part of his little challenge thing that I've done a lot of badgering of him on to bring that up and running. The reason being is we know the runner leaderboards. This is all RNG. That's all it's ever going to be and all it will ever be. Hello, KeepNet. And we also have no idea. We have no idea how quick people can be on the other maps, because as we know, Divine Sight, kind of Tempest, but not so much on Paradise Lost. But the Paradise Lost map rules the roost. If you're going on anything else, well, you're not going to be able to get as good a score. So who's the fastest on Purgatory? Who's the fastest on Desolation or Paradise Lost or even Abyss? Or dare I say it, I mean, I suppose we could kind of do the pits, but that would be for another day. So I've got a time to beat. I'd like to not get hit. I'd like to do it live, just like Beanie did. Haven't played the crossbow all week. What could go wrong? As I've been saying, the no-hit side of things isn't all that important, because that's just for our prestige. And if I was really concerned about getting the no-hit side of things, I would not be stupid doing this live, and I would do it in my own time. Now you'll see accuracy, me on this mode at least, kind of goes out the window a little bit, because I'm concerned in hitting them and not getting hit. So it's about fast, wanging the bolts out. Oh, grace God, there's you to light them. Trying not to comment whilst trying to be quick. That'd be a good idea as well. Not going to happen, mind. Excellent, Camille. These are the things I want to hear. Oh, right, let's get some more headshots in this next section, because that was goddamn awful. The other thing that I'll address as well, because I've seen some excellent questions in the forum, in the Discord, but mainly on Facebook, as various styles with the crossbow. We've got it in place. Won't even aiming for him. Oh, there goes my armor. It's not going to be a no-hit run. Damn. Done that. I know, fire him in now. Yeah, I figured doing this would, it can only enhance the experience, right? Because of how I do my live streams, we've got a lot of retail space to make use of, and I can put some silly GIFs up, or some stupid little rotating things going on, or something along those lines. But I would rather put something useful up. The delay that you'll see at the moment will mean that your comments won't match up for what's coming through. But as I answer them, it will work out just fine. I don't even need that often. Quick thing for you on runner. Orphan, obviously we're not going for points. Orphan is just one enemy, and it's also one enemy that can take a while to put down if you get bolts or arrows going through faces, which is only going to slow us down. Let's go this way. Hello, Black Knight. Oh, I had 2 armors on as well then. So this is another thing that you should be doing with runner if you are playing it. Depending on how fast you are going. But depending on how fast you are going and how much you are throwing caution to the wind, armor is the additional armor isn't a bad shout for runner. Oh, hello. At the moment, we're going for speed. I'm thinking no hit will be a different day. These are the times to check your time. That's not bad. What was Beanie's time? I can't remember. 8 minutes 20 or something like that. I know Beanie with the crossbow kind of moves like old people fuck. I mean, it's just what I've heard, you know. I think we'll go down this way for a change, because I don't think they're far off of it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What was Beanie's time again? I can't remember. It was like just under 6, wasn't it? Someone tell me what Beanie's time is, and I just want to, you know, be a second or two under him. Just to, you know, give him a little bit of hope. I don't think it was that. There you go, 5:45. What did you get, Beanie? I can't remember. But I thought I'd just pop a little bit of showmanship on the end there for you, just to keep it competitive. Whew. Oh, I'm warm. I'll tell you that. I'm going to get a door open. I'll give Beanie all the hope. I'm going to have to get a door open in here, jeez. There we go. Right, so one of the only problems that I've found with doing the overlay the way that I have done it is poles. Poles are a problem. You don't need to record to put in a run, Camille. All we need you to do is do the run. And if it's, I mean, you should record if you were going for a no hit, because then obviously we can verify what you started with or whatnot, or that you didn't take any hits during the run. But the no hit side of things is only really for prestige. It isn't going to add to your time. However, obviously prestige is a very big thing. But what you are looking to do is vanilla arrows as fast as you can. Take a picture of your end time. That's enough. But I haven't confirmed this with JJ, but I would have said if you're going for a hitless, randomless runner on A level, you should video the whole thing if you're doing no armor. What are you talking about? Kinky skeleton, finger in the mouth, face hugger. What's wrong with that? Right, so, yeah, as I was saying, polls are an absolute pain in the ass with how I've got the chat overlay. It'll block a lot of the chat out. That's, yep, that's not far off. Okay, so here's we'll go through this. You guys, if just tell me in the chat instead of me doing a poll, it's actually better for things as well, if I'm honest, because it's more chat messages, which we like, because it pushes the video more, which we like. I've got a Fletcher run that we weren't doing too bad on. It's going to take some bringing back though, but we are at Abyss. Or I've got my god awful Purist run where yeah, I'm about half health, but I've got my left ear and I've got the technology, I think, to conquer Purist. But what would you guys like to see? You can let me know in the chat. Hello, Fee. Yes, I do think so, because having that additional gear is having an additional gear. I've been a big proponent in saying that you want to play it nice and slow and deliberately, but you want to have the ability to knock things up a notch and go fast. Let me just adjust my volume here, because you guys are coming through a bit loud and it's like having God voice in my head, which, you know, is awesome. There we go. That's why. Okay. Well, that definitely sounds like the sort of time to try and do a runner. My time, and I was obviously trying my hardest and my best and my fastest as well, with no showmanship, delaying or anything like that, anything at all at the end, was a measly 5:45. But I also got hit, so you know, there you go. But it's all about the time and not about the no hit run. I want to emphasize that because I'd like to get as many people going as possible. So, far as crossbow's concerned, look, JJ, don't tell him that. Just give him the time. Tell him I did a little bit showboating at the end. That's enough. That's fine. As far as crossbow's concerned, I'll do a little bit on the crossbow, and then yeah, give me some ideas what you want to see. Be it, I mean, I'm tempted to lean toward carrying on my Purist run and seeing that's on the bow and seeing how far we can get on that. We should be going a little bit faster. I'll obviously be able to talk to you guys a little bit easier on a Purist run, whereas Fletcher's not a talky one. So as far as the crossbow's concerned, I've been asked about how various techniques. Sorry, I just wait for the chat. So, a couple of things to note with the crossbow. I, as you'll have seen, go for this rapid fire approach. Tiny, yeah, I think it was 5:48. I managed to get a measly, I mean, an awesome 5:45. There's no way that you could beat it. One of the things to note, how little you actually have to pull this to reload a bolt. So these tiny, that's all in the wrist. That's not me cocking the thing back. Tiny little wrist motions, that gets my fire rate going. If you can keep that going, then you can start getting that quite fast. Like that. There is the, and a lot of people I've seen have the crossbow right down the bottom left here. That's where I started, because it gives you a great base of fire for this rapid fire approach. The whole idea is to almost use your bolts as a tracer. One of the things that you'll see Rico talking about is climbing up an opponent. So you start with body shots and lift to the head, which is a great way, because the body shots will stun them, and then it's the headshots that will finish them off. either way, if you're putting rounds into them, they ain't coming at you. And you're constantly reducing their life as well. A couple of other things to note with it. So what I've done with the crossbow, so that's kind of at my side. Another way that you can do it is kind of bring it across your body and then flatten your hand across the top. That's another one that I've seen. You need to do a lot more work pivoting wise with that way. What I've kind of advanced to now, and kind of think Beanie's done this as well, is what Dave was talking about, where you move your elbow up. So it's almost like Doom. It's almost like Doom at this point. So we've got like the gun in front of us and the Doom face sort of thing. And you've got that elbow almost not on. I mean, you can put it to your belly button if you want, but you put it where it's comfortable, and really crux it in somewhere so that it isn't moving. The problem with putting your elbow more towards your belly button, I guess, is that you then lose a bit of your range because your shoulder is canted inwards, which then makes it difficult to shoot on the left, which then means you have two options. You either make sure you stay far left of your opponents and make sure they're always in your right, or you have three options really. You pivot your body, which is what I would recommend. I've always said to kind of when you are shooting or doing a lot of shooting, especially in Siege of Heaven, being in a stance with your front leg bent, your back leg behind you, can be an archery stance if you want, which isn't too dissimilar. But the whole idea with pivoting is that you actually move your back leg to turn. You'll note that I do not use snap turn whilst I'm in combat. Everything that I do is turning, because that's all well and good, but I can do it faster, or I think I can do it faster, or, you know, give me a break. It feels cool when you know, VR, immersion, come on now. I don't want it done for me when I can do it myself. Another thing to note is where you can load the crossbow from. Well, that wasn't the bolt, was it? So this is closer to how I see Camille and Harry play. They have it extended out like a pistol, and you'll see that they load from here, and as they should. I think the grab point is just on the other hand, as they should, because then they can have the crossbow out further, which, as silly as it sounds, you are putting the crossbow out closer to your opponent, which means that your aiming is going to be a little bit easier, and you've actually got an aiming point. So you can aim down. Cheers. Who was that on the way out? Oh, my app's gone off. 2 seconds. There we go. Cool. Cheers, K2. See you in a bit. I'm sure I'll be sticking around. I'll be still here. And yeah, this having it out far and firing. I will do that from time to time. One of the other things you'll note that I haven't even talked about yet is slow time. Now, this is where my crossbow game can definitely be improved, because I very rarely use slow time because I can fire fast. However, there does come a point where the enemies are just it's just too much to take them down. You can't take them down quickly enough with rapid fire and being close. So you do have to then start bringing the slow time in as well. Slow rapid time shooting fast, that's beyond me. I can't do that either. But what I could do is do your rapid fire, hold your slow time, adjust, do your situations, plan what you're going to do, move, do some more, hold your slow time, move, and so on. So, but again, having rapid fire is just, it's one arrow in the quiver. Being able to do the slow play side of things as well is also important. What I find with my long range crossbow side of things is quite similar to how I would do the bow, in that I would start high instead of starting low or starting body and climbing at close range. I would start high and slowly drop. And if you have that stable platform that we were talking about with having your elbow tucked in nice on the crossbow, you can then slowly bring it down. So yeah. So unless anybody's got any complaints, I'll carry on some bow on Purist. Just in case anybody was thinking that they might be able to game the system as far as the sigils are concerned, I can tell you now that Super Bright have programmed this all nice. 2 seconds whilst I have a wet. Super Bright have programmed this all nice enough. Okay. I'll come to that in just a second, Sean. One of the things that I was going to say is crossbow-wise, bow-wise. Oh, and sorry if I missed anybody. I will get round to you in the chat, or just repeat the question if I haven't answered it. I had my headset incredibly loud. I couldn't do it, but I've turned it nice and low now. So, Super Bright have sorted it out so that we cannot have the crossbow. So this is a bow run. If I go through here now, I will not change that bow run into a crossbow run. It will remember what weapon I had. I mention this because you can reach over there at times. Well, you could just change it to runner. Change on to the bow. God, I'm not a lefty. And then go back onto Purist and go through with the bow if it was a crossbow run. But they've thought of that. So we are shit out of luck when it comes to that. Although I would recommend taking in what you had to make sure that you have it on the right hand. Oh yeah, I was going to say about the crossbow side of things. So yeah, the last thing that I'll do on the crossbow then, and then as I said, unless there's any objections, I'll get onto some Purist and see how we can go with that. With rapid fire, start really slow and start big, deliberate movements. Big, deliberate movements, and you just keep doing this. So yes, before you ask, I am sad enough to sit here and practice this. Yes, I am sad enough to sit here and drill this. The reason being is because if you can drill this well, then it should become second nature, which then means that you should be able to use it under pressure, or at least do it to a reasonable degree under pressure. The important part of this, though, is not the movement of the hands. If you know that this hand is going nowhere and this one is just going forwards and backwards, the only thing that you need to get the timing on is the triggers. Trigger right hand side, trigger left hand side. So once you've got the movements down, all you need to think about is left trigger, right trigger, left trigger, right trigger, left trigger, right trigger, left trigger, right trigger, and that'll do the job. 2 seconds. There we go. Left trigger, right trigger, left trigger, right trigger, and I'll just concentrate on the triggers and trust that the hand movement will take care of itself, or at least that's how I've always done it. And then once you are at this point where you are doing full draws, it comes from a lot of practice and experience. Yes, that is correct, but it also comes, for me anyway, starting off in the right place and then altering it slightly to make it easier. Like everything in this game, you don't go into Siege of Heaven and start popping fucking sniper headshots off the bat. No, you start close with body shots. You then start making those body shots into close headshots. You then start extending your range out a little bit to medium range and trying for those body shots, and then occasionally going for the heads. Then you start thinking about hitting those cupids, and then you start thinking about looking at longer range shots. You don't just start off popping them at distance. That's what people, I was thinking about it the other day, that's what people who've got like massive amounts of talent like Beanie, who can just pick these things up and they just work for them. They've got it easy, the likes of Beanie. They just come here and do their thing and it just works. I have to train for ages. So start with a long draw, slowly make that movement so that instead of a whole arm, it's just the hand. And you are literally, all I'm doing with my hand is that. So then what you're able to do, this is where you work up to. So you start off with like a very long, deliberate movement so you can get the time into the buttons down. And then what I moved it up to was then shortening that movement. And then my final stage, which is where I'm at now, is where you are literally just have an arm locked out to the right and your arm center on the your left arm center, and then You are literally just doing this. And then left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Simple as that. No, but that's the thing is, as long as you are going along the right lines, you will get there eventually. You've just got to keep on doing it. It's just training, experience, and practice, just like anything else. And yeah, as Camille says, it will etch itself onto your very soul at some point, but you've just got to keep at it, and also give yourself a break because you've only just started playing the crossbow. The next problem that you're going to have is, having played the crossbow a lot, going back to the bow, your bow game will be, well, you'll feel a difference, I'll tell you now. Right, I hope anyone hasn't got any qualms with Purgatory and doing a purist run, because that's what we're going to do. So as far as being fast but not being fast enough, again, you'll grow into that. This is where doing things like the randomless runner challenge, regardless of your time and regardless of whether you take a hit or not, those things don't matter. Doing that randomless runner challenge, if you want to improve your times, you will naturally get fast to the crossbow. Part of the reason why the likes of me, I know Elite Jonathan, I definitely know Beanie, we're all very fast on the, and others obviously as well, Sean as well. We're all very fast on the crossbow because that's what was needed for the tournament. You needed to be fast on the crossbow. And we played a lot of tournament and we got very fast. So for those of you joining us that don't know what the purist mode is, the purist mode is what has been asked for a very long time. Purist is no special arrows, no healing items, no slow time, no fun. So we are going to be nice and careful. We have our left ear back, so I have no excuses for getting dinged from silly angles. Oh, I didn't realise there was one there. That was a mistake. Whee! Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I will say for purist is you're not going to be getting that far depending on how you do it. I know VR Faffing or John Holland or however you know him has been playing this way, self-enforced, his entire life, and he's only getting to cycle 5. Obviously, that's nothing against his level of play or skill or anything along those lines. If anything, that just goes to... And he's top of the leaderboard as well, I might add. That goes to show how difficult it is. The person that's asked for it and has been practicing it and doing it a lot is top with a score of, I think he's like 2.5, maybe 3 million, and he crashed out on cycle 5. So yeah, that's where we're at with it. For those of you who are like JJ saying like, oh well, that's much more preferable than a 20 cycle game. Oh, these are terrible shots now. It's all going to Pox and trying to talk and headshot. There we go. For those of you who are saying, oh, I don't want a 20 cycle game to, get anywhere on the leaderboard, or I don't even want to have to play the game for weeks to be able to get onto the leaderboard. Well, this is what runners for. That's exactly what runners for. If you want the quick experience, you have it now. And you have it in the guise of runner. If you do not want the quick experience, you have the main game. I would say purist is good in respect to the fact that you have somewhere in between. You don't want to be playing for weeks or months or many months, but you also want something to get your teeth into, and that's where purist comes in. And I suppose to a certain extent, Fletcher. So what we're going to try and do in this room is I'm going to try and eliminate the archers. I think that was all of them. It was a bit dangerous. This is a nice place to sit and just pop off all of these. This is very similar to the very end bit that I was showing on Anakin. Now, there are some rafters up here. This is a bit dangerous because I don't know if they've programmed this out of it or not, but let's see. Here we go. Ever seen that play before? Oops. So what we're going to try and do now is from up here, I'm going to try and headshot all of these dudes. This should be just past what we're calling mid-range, I think. Bear in mind you can't land on all of these. And if you're looking at this going, oh my god, that's amazing, it's not really. It's, it doesn't, I mean, it's not bad. You wouldn't want to have to come up here in a pinch, because as you'll see, I missed it a couple of times. However, one of the things that you can do from here, if they haven't, again, programmed it out. Oh, they might have, you know. They have. You used to be able to go from here up there. But it's also very cool to strike from the rafters. Yeah, to be fair, shooting from above to headshots is a more difficult prospect than shooting straight on, and it's simply because of the fact that I believe the body shot, the body hitbox can get involved with your headshots. So what I mean by that is, look at this guy here. If I'm shooting at him and I'm aiming over, but I miss the head, it doesn't matter too much as long as it's going over, and then I can lower my shots and nail the headshots. Whereas, we'll use the rafters as an example. Look at this, twice in one game. So if you are firing from above, all of a sudden you have a problem. I know this is an exaggerated model, but this is actually quite a good example. So hitting the head isn't particularly difficult. However, if you miss the head, because you've got to imagine all of these factors would be a lot smaller, because we're firing from above, you've got the possibility of hitting the body as the arrow is traveling down. So you've got the possibility of hitting the body kind of by accident, as opposed to either hitting the head or nothing because you are aiming over. So yeah, a shot, long story short, that shot is a lot easier because if you miss it, you're hitting nothing but air. Whereas from up there, going down, if you miss the headshot, you've got those shoulders that you could hit, dorsal flanges if they have them. Those knights are quite thick, which is why I like my spot where I do my long range shots, because it puts me at a massive distance with the knights, but more importantly, on level with them. Being on level with the knights allows me to get the headshots. Like even monks, probably quite a good example of this. Those ones weren't being very compliant, but then we are talking about extremes as well. Plenty of headshots there. But yeah, the straight on headshot is always going to be an easier prospect than one from above. But then the problem is, a lot of the time in like Abyss, if you want to put a massive amount of range on things, you have to create that distance somehow, and usually it's by elevating yourself. I do believe I've checked quite extensively to see if, like, for instance, because I wanted to know how they measure long distance headshots, and I believe it is actually arrow travel time as opposed to actually calculated distance. The reason why I say that is because, let's say for instance, I was really high on the enemy and fired a shot at them and hit them in the head, or was really distant from the enemy and fired a shot in the head, you would get a similar result because the distances are the same. I miss the head all the time, Sean. All the time. 2 seconds. Well, you know, I mean, what can I say? I want to entertain Sean. The headshots are a nice noise. Thump, thump, thump. As far as this one's concerned, Camille, we're only on cycle 2. I'll have advice for cycle 5 when we get there. That was a bad shot. So again, by not listening to my own advice and actually aiming these where I should and waiting for the feedback on the right controller to denote that I have a valid teleport arrow shot, I did myself a bit of a disservice there. So yeah, if I'm going for these, I need to move up and down. I can feel the vibration. Oh, missed it. Moved at the last minute. And then go from there. Otherwise, you can send teleport arrows sailing in. Teleport arrows are just like regular arrows, regardless of whether you teleport there or not, they will set things off. But yeah, as far as cycle 5, I'll have lots and lots of tips and tricks for Paradise Lost for any level on cycle 5 for Purist when I get there, which isn't going to be today. As I say, we've got we've got a lot of work to do. I'd second that information from JJ, and I would also add, don't let them fire, and if they are going to, you do what we do and you run. Running is a great course of action. I think I've said on a few occasions, check my back quadrant then, should have. I didn't hear anything though, to be honest with you. You can usually hear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you mean it's going terrible? It's Purist. You just don't get hit. The problem that I had, excuses coming in, excuses inbound, expect delays, is I had my left ear basically gummed up with a Bluetooth headset so that I could talk to you guys. The difference in the last few streams I've done, or the last couple of streams I've done, where I would like to think my audience would agree, is that because I didn't put on how badly I would be playing without my left ear, basically. That's how it was. Now that I've got sound back and can hear it out of my left ear, well, I don't know. If I play carefully, I don't really see why I would have any excuses for getting hit, if I'm honest. You were loud. Is there another one? Interesting. Don't like that. Might deal with him on his own, because I could get him without alerting the other ones. The way we would do that is we'll go round the houses. We'll deal with these two, though. They don't seem to be paying much in ways of attention. But you'll also see that if I miss that first headshot, I am quick. See you later. Thanks for playing. I'm quick to adjust for a body shot because I don't want return fire coming in. See what we can see from up here. So the other way that we could conquer this one is we could start from there, move our way along, go up onto the tower, fight down, and then take out. It's a lot easier to take out and bait and wait enemies and take out individuals from a corner than it is from a straight. By that I mean I'd have to be in this sort of region to attack everything here, and unless I want to make it a really distant shot. I mean, I do have an idea. I don't think this is a particularly good play, but I'll do it for the demonstration purposes. So what I could do here is hope to get some headshots, and if it doesn't work out all lovely, we bin it off into there, because we know where they're going to go if we don't get them. But it's fine, because we're just going to rein in, headshot, after headshot, after headshot, he says. So I've moved to here, and look, here's our guy. Problem with that is I don't think it's... Yes, you can, but for purists, as you well know, it is all about scoring those headshots, and as you also well know, it's all about doing it at distance. I don't want to be luring them in close for the kill when I can deal with them at long range and score points out of them. That was a tasty shot. One of the other the reason why that was a tasty shot is because I was moving at the same time. One of the other things, this is something actually I have never talked about. You'll see me do it. You'll see Beanie do it. You'll probably see a lot of players do it, where you are using the locomotion button whilst firing. Let me clear this area a second, and I'll talk more on that. Because it's not particularly good, like, I'm moving now and firing, and it's not a particularly great idea. The reason being is the arrows curve ever so slightly in the direction that you are moving, so you may see that if I move left, the arrow curves left. If I am moving right, the arrow moves right. It's actually a big reason why I do have the original In Death Unchained, but I don't play it a lot, because you can't shoot and move. You can locomotion, but you can't. As soon as you draw an arrow, you are stock still. And I think it's because the Super Bright managed to program this in so that you get a bit of movement on the arrow as you are moving, or maybe it's just a byproduct of them putting it into the game. I don't know. We're going to go up there and attack them, head down this way. I've already headshotted that one, so he's got plenty of time to stagger for us. The argument is, Camille, that we were also talking about is I probably got my lunch taken off of me just as much in Paradise Lost as I did across the entirety of Purgatory and the Pit. And obviously we all know that Paradise Lost is not where you go for points. So I'm tempted to make an attempt on the Orphan and maybe clear out the enemies around her to make that a bit easier, and then maybe just crack on. We'll see. I think it's too risky as far as execution in Cycle 1. I think it's way too risky. But then the other thing that you've got as well is... the other problem that you've got as well is that as far as Executioner is concerned, if you are all up in their faces constantly moving and doing that, you then can get more of a score. But if you watch with the crossbow, I'd say I probably would, because I can go a lot faster with a lot less risk to health with the crossbow. Now, I want that Orphan to come this way. I do not want to going into all of that. The way that I'm going to attempt that is by getting all up in these knights over here, take them out as quickly as possible, not worried too much about the range, and then we're going to go into here, and hopefully she's going to move to that range. Oh, there's one behind me, thankfully. Gave him the back. And there we go. Heard one coming up behind me, but again, that guy there. Because I had my back directly to him and I started moving, even if he was to try and hit me, he cannot. You are invulnerable from the back. The one thing that I would say is do not rely on that. Don't use it as a tactic. Just be aware of it so that, you know, if you hear that voice coming up behind you or a swing behind you or something along those lines, your instant reaction should be to just carry on moving forward, as opposed to turning and going, ah, because that's what will actually get you hit. It is, yeah, so it's less preferable if you hear something behind you to turn around and shoot it. It is ideal to just carry on either walking forward or walking forward and teleporting away and then turning to engage. So a very timely lesson. So, let's carry on with the scoring. can go. Alerted that guy at the middle distance back there, so I'm going to move back round here because I don't want to engage that guy at that distance because he's got the drop on me, as we were talking about in the last one. He's got an arrow out, which means he's ready to go. He is set and ready to fire, and I don't fancy playing fair, and I haven't got slow time crutch, so I won't. Now that's going to be our next big problem. There's the pit. I want the orphan, obviously, but depending on the layout, depending on where she is, and depending on how much of the level I can handle before I either alert her by accident or on purpose, the better. Do these one at a time. The pit is a score blessing, but the problem is going to be the Cupid. There's a little bit more than I want to alert there. What do we know difference-wise between something like melee infantry, i.e. knights and your ghouls, and ghosts? Well, the ghosts can definitely come up to us, whereas the knights have to stay down here. So luring the ghosts out to somewhere like this, where you've got lovely sight lines, is always preferable to trying to stand and fight near walls. Oh, we can get that last headshot from a further distance than that. There we go, that's much better. Not bad. Get in there. One last ghost. Take this nice and slow because I refuse, basically, ladies and gentlemen. I refuse to lose any more life. I've lost plenty, and I'm blaming it all on the earwig. And so, the earwig that I had, and now that we don't have that, it's almost like I have to play well. Got the rod for my own back. Hey fellas, how you doing? So that's another one. That's another shot that you'll find yourself hitting quite a lot. When they reach round their back to grab an arrow, is actually a bad time to shoot them. And I think it's because if you imagine that's his arm, the hitbox of the arm wouldn't be just his arm. Hitboxes are usually a little bit wider than the actual thing that they are representing. It's a programming thing. Sometimes they do it on purpose as well. I thought you were going to give a Youngest Not Simply Walk into Mordor sort of reference there, but no, quite right. But I refuse. I've taken too many hits. I have to refuse. Can't do any more. No. So it's like what I'm talking about with the hitbox side of things. The hitboxes of the heads of knights seem to adjust as the knights are moving. You find it less when you are using no slow time. So let's get this done. Let's find out what that was. Gotta live up. Right. Oh, that's rubbish. That's not the sort of scoring that we need to be doing. The reason why, but as you can, I would imagine you'll all be able to appreciate, the reason why I want to be scoring as much as possible and as efficiently as possible and really pushing that score is because, well, we're not in a great position as far as life is concerned. And we want to squeeze as many points as we can out of everything that's going in every level and every cycle. Part and parcel of the reason of that is that's how Mr. Holland, John Holland, is playing things, and he's at the top of the leaderboard. And you know what? If it's good enough for him, but I still think I might give Purist a miss. Why? This would be one that I may give up on an orphan on. I'm not a fan of Immolation. And that's skeleton archers. We're going to have to go down. We're going to have to go across. We're going to have to move. I think we've seen... Okay, this is bad play on my part. This is where you lose lives. Yeah, I'm not doing that. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and despawn her. This is very risky, but I think I did it. And we're now going to try and make up some distance so that we don't lose any life out of this. So now we've got to quickly, on the fly, create ourselves a safe space whilst we've got all of this nasty coming in. But we should now be alright because we've just got a herd of ghosts to deal with. Now, what I'm hoping, I'm going to keep moving here because I don't exactly know where they all are. So this is why, as I've said before, and I will emphasise again, your hearing needs to be on point, and your movement needs to be on point. I saw that skeleton coming back for your bunch just now. Now, if I'm right, we obviously didn't take a hit. And I'm going to deal with it now. Don't like it for points, but there's not a lot that we can do when his head's in there, unfortunately. So, that was a whole shit, it's all going wrong pit strategy. So basically, I heard ghosts coming in and I was very close to the walls up there. So the only real play that I can make is either stand my ground, not really knowing where that ghost is coming from, and it coming through the wall and tapping me, because that's what ghosts do. The other play that I could make was make a run for it, and that's the play that I chose, and on this occasion, it worked out nice. Although I would not recommend that sort of thing. Now, the reason why I did that was to put as much distance between me and that orphan as possible. But you'll also see that I made a point of landing, hitting, and then moving away from the orphan. The reason being is because by landing next to it and ensuring the hit buys me potentially those seconds to get away. I still don't know if we did it, but we'll find out. You're impressed. I was impressed I didn't take a hit. But again, there was, I don't know, not amazing play on my part, because it should have been a lot more slow and methodical and careful than that. But then this is the problem that you have with Purist, is you haven't got your slow time to rely on. So if you can't be slow, you have to be fast. You keep moving, they can't hit you with anything, basically. There is nothing in this game that can hit a teleporting target. There's plenty of things that can hit a moving target, but not a teleporting one. I'm not even going to mess around with those skeletons, because I do not want to eat an arrow from one. Thank you very much. We'll have that one, though. And I'm just going to make sure... I heard that. That was definitely a skeleton. One of the things I do find with skeletons is you almost always have to have like a little bit of a half lean on, ready to try and start. One of the things that you can do on this, and this is true, this is something that I've picked up in quite a lot of VR games. Pistol Whipped is one of them. So with Pistol Whipped, if anyone plays that as you are shooting, if you slowly move around, the enemies are firing to where you were as long as you keep moving. I picked this up as well in Super Hot, and it's kind of the same here. If I put my head and body here, they're going to try and shoot at me here. If I'm going to return fire, I don't really want to do that, or I don't really want to do that and return fire from here. So I would start here and come up for the shot, hoping that, you know, I've done enough to spoil their aim, so to speak. I think I've done most of this now, which doesn't bode well because I haven't heard that orphan pipe up again. There's still quite a lot of enemies about, enough that she won't have spawned yet. I do not know where she is, which is obviously a bit of a problem because she will have moved. Is that anything down there that needs sorting out? Nope. So yeah, not my most solid play and not one that I would recommend copying. But considering how much life I lost and the bullshit that I had to go through on... Oh, come on. Come on. The bullshit that I had to go through on Wednesday with being shot through the fucking wall. I think I deserve that one. Oh, it's you. There you go. Right, so I can start relaxing now and I can start building from the back. We know that the Cupid was that the orphan was last seen over there. So let's deal with what we can. That was one that I forgot about, even though I dealt with his skeleton buddy. Again, we still want to be trying to get these long-range headshots. As far as body shots are concerned, I'm so glad I've got my left ear back. Yep, the thing is, last time I was relaxing, I couldn't hear that one, and that's exactly the situation that the ghost took my lunch last time. Right, let's see if that shot... Oh, I didn't miss it. Okay, I was expecting that to go sailing over. I think there's still a lot over there, which it's going to make the orphan a tough call. Very tough. Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think she has despawned, but I've been wrong about these things many times. Oh, there she is, look. I heard her. Cool, that's good to know. So, on the note concerning despawning, not liking these really low-range headshots, but I definitely want to make sure we get that orphan. So I'll let a couple of these slide. That's one more points back out of the game, unfortunately. This is all a lot of points that I'm giving away, but I'm alerting them, and I'm playing it a lot more safe than I normally would. Normally I just bounce around all these guys and take my chances with their numbers, but I feel like we can't take any chances. I'm purist, so we shall deal. Yeah, on the note of despawning orphans, because I don't remember if I covered it last time, if you hear their raising music, but you hear the laughter cut out before the music has finished, she has despawned. Likewise, if you hear the lifting up music and the laughter cut out, she has despawned. I was quite confident, quietly, that she had despawned. The only problem that we've got now is making sure we don't make eyes on her. Now, I believe she's at the bottom of the ramp, which gives us a reasonably decent opportunity to take her here, and she's despawned as well. The fact that she's despawned again says to me that there is a shitload of enemies down there, and we're going to have to do what we can. So we'll take it nice and slowly. I'm going to angle myself so I'm definitely not sending any arrows whistling down that way, because I want to be alerting the very minimum. I'm not liking that, and No, I don't want to chance it. I don't want to chance going around there making eyes on her. We may have... So, here's the thing that we can do. Knowing how many enemies we've got left... No. 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 This would be far enough that if I could see her, she wouldn't make me. If you are at their maximum distance, they can't teleport away. They can't see you, basically. I tell you what, now that we're here, I might actually do it, because I was expecting to actually run the risk of seeing her then. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go up and round, and we're going to take all of that mess up in the tower out, because I don't want that bearing down on me whilst I'm scrabbling around trying to get this orphan this time round. And you'll note how I'm moving. I'm not going up that stairwell, because again, I don't want to run the risk of setting her off. Oof, that's bad. That was bad place. That's bad. Yep, that is the case. So you'll note I plugged each of those skeletons before I teleported, for the simple fact of the matter that it buys me the seconds of not taking return fire. These are all risky preys. Shouldn't be going for them. I should be out. Because what I'm trying to do, like if I get into these situations on, say, cycle 5, or maybe even next cycle or the cycle after cycle 4, if I keep on getting into these situations, it's just going to cost me a lot of life. These are risky that I am getting away with. I'll tell you that. Probably deserve to have lost some life. But, hail quick movement and rapid thinking. Damn it. I suppose it's worth noting, if you hit things whilst you are trying to teleport onto them, you don't have to hit the individual banisters or those, because you could miss them. Hitting lower can dump you in the lava, which is another reason why I hate this level. That is probably your safest shot if it allows it. Yes, it does, and then we're up. I mean, these are all good lessons, I suppose, aren't they? You see my movement as I am retreating, and it's basically to try and spoil the enemy shots. They're going to fire where you were. If you are locomotioning, they're firing to where you're going. What they are also tracking is your position within that. So if you are slowly bobbing, we're only cycle 2. If we are slowly bobbing and weaving as we are doing these things, it's just one more thing to throw them off, I guess. Right, bear with. Need a drink after that. Whew. Oh, hello, Marcus. Sorry, I missed the name. Only cycle 2, but we are playing Purist, and it didn't go very well for me in my first outing on Purist, let me tell you. But we're stopping the drought now. Previously, I had an excuse. Now I have none. So we're going to see if we can make this orphan without too many dramas. So we know she's down there. And as long as we don't catch our eye, we should be okay. The only problem is, I think she is quite close to that platform. So we'll see if we can draw these away a little. Cool, that's got what I wanted. I will wait for her to come through this wall so that any missed shots go into the wall, as opposed to dealing with her at a slightly larger range. Because if I'd have missed that, then they're going there as opposed to there, which could be close enough. It's not, but I'm playing this a little different. We'll get his attention, but we'll get his attention visually, nothing else. And then we will come back. And yeah, you guys might need to talk amongst yourselves because I'm waiting for this guy to teleport. That was a wasted shot. Oh, there she is. Now we have to deal. So now we're going to try and deal with what we can. Try and make sure there's no skeletons about, hopefully. Put shots in. Stay near her. Keep moving. Keeps the ghosts confused. We bring the ghosts up here now. Should be okay, providing there's nothing behind us. That's good. And we're out. Problem is, ladies and gentlemen, this is not very good play. It's worked, but that's not something that I want to have to keep on recreating. Now, the problem that I had there is I got greedy with the incubi, basically. God hearing. So I know that that looked I know that that looked impressive-ish, but the problem is it's impressively looking bad play is what it is. For instance, do you think LG gets as far as he gets doing shit like that? This is the problem that the likes of me and Beanie have, is we can do that and we can do that to a decent level. Is it good play? No. Should you have it in your repertoire? Fucking right you should. Hello, Dan. I disagree, John. I really do. I mean, let's clear up the pit and I'll explain as I go along. But for me, on Purist, yes, I can do this, but I would much rather, knowing how Purist works, especially in Purist, I would much rather take a 100% chance. Yeah, exactly. That's bad play for higher cycles, and I'm trying to show you guys how you should play all cycles with Purist, so that's why I consider it bad play. But, you know, entertainment is a factor. But then that's the thing, is if I want to get far, Sean, I do not want to be doing dangerous plays, because dangerous plays have, for me, right, all of what I was doing there was about a 50-50. There was a 50-50% chance that something would go awry and I would lose a proper health. I can't afford to do that, not with how this started. And I want to be preserving my life as much as damn possible. And I would much rather take a closer engagement that isn't scoring well, or a really long-range engagement that isn't scoring well, but has a 100% chance of me not losing life. Like, for instance, I'm fairly confident we can take this guy. No, but it could have. Could have. Right, so this is part of the process that you should go through, I do believe, as an IDU player. Or we're going to have you at long range, I could do with the points. Whilst I'm chatting, one of the processes that I do think that you should go through, I did gamble. I did gamble for a measly amount of points. Well, not measly. It was a decent amount of points, to be fair. So one of the things that I'm a big, or have become, oh, I knew that was in, have become, woo! Yeah, you know it. That wasn't maximum range though, but that was decent. One of the things I've become to be quite a big proponent of, and I've never mentioned it again in my videos, is criticizing yourself as you play. You take a hit, you should be thinking about why you took a hit, compose yourself, calm yourself, or speed yourself up, or something along those lines. My missus will come through occasionally, and she'll think that I'm in a party chat, or she'll think that I'm talking to somebody because I'm chatting away to myself, saying like, look, that was a really shit play. You need to be playing better than that, all right? You've now put yourself in a predicament where you've taken a hit, and I'll go and I'll say it all out loud. And the reason being is it's just reinforcing the lesson that I am teaching myself. I'm still learning. You should never stop. You really shouldn't. I'm not going to take this guy to huge range. I do want to make up the distance a little bit. But yeah, unfortunately, with my live streaming, you guys will now become the voice that I talk to tell you how bad that was. Yeah, for me, we got lucky there, and we can't afford to be playing lucky if I want to get far. I'm doing all right at the moment, but it's those sorts of thoughts that then mess you up. Oh yeah, I'm playing all right. Yeah, everything's going fine. I haven't taken a hit through purgatory. Bam, ghost gets you through the wall. You know. Hey, you got to be ready for those things. So if you are playing the normal game, this is why that slow time button, you should always have your thumb on it. Yeah, as soon as you, I know what you're getting at. As soon as you hear that creak, that slow-mo button goes on with Cupids. That's all you do. As soon as you hear that, slow time. And at least then you buy yourself time to think or time to do. You had to bring it up, Dan. Yes, quite right, sir. Quite right. Well remembered. Absolute fucking bullshit that was. Right, so what we're going to do here, I don't think I'm going to be able to break these guys any better. That one's probably a better target than the one on the right. The reason being is the one on the left, if I miss the shot, it probably won't alert much more. Says as I see another one wandering. But it did definitely alert the one on the right. So I wanted to make sure that he was dealt with. But that was a bad play. I alerted one and then switched target to another. Yeah, got to use that slow time. That is it's the biggest thing that I can say to you about not getting hit is as soon as you hear something. And again, it's like Rico talks about it when he was in the stream last as well. And I've never really placed as big a I've never really placed a massive emphasis on it. Because, see, even that was risky plays. I didn't need to do any of that. Could have played that completely different. Yeah, no, man, he's doing very well for himself. Yeah. So, yeah, that was a risky play. I didn't need to do that. That guy's one we'll have all day. But yeah, the emphasis that I was putting on then is until I blocked off one of my ears, because I don't know, it's like I started live streaming, I had the earwig, so I had the ability to talk with you guys. And what I didn't put it down to, and I'm now starting to see a lot clearer, is chatting with you guys and having conversations and words going in my head and me putting them out. That's not the problem. The problem was the fact that I'd lost an ear, in essence, and not having that full dimensional hearing was really impairing my game, to the point where I was like, well, maybe I'm not cut out for live stream, and if I can't perform on live stream whilst chatting to people, then, like, you know, because I like to have a reason for you guys to come, and I want it to be something like, you know, I watch other streams. I don't think I've seen anybody do what I'm trying to do. Is it amazing? I don't think so. I'm just multitasking. I know blokes aren't supposed to be able to do that, but we fucking can, can't we, lads? But we just don't tell them we can do. We just don't tell the ladies that we can. That's all it is. But yeah. So, again, we'll have these points. I think this is the best place for it. It's quite a lot down here, actually, as well. I think this is the best place for it. Gather all these guys up here. Come on in, lads. Come on in. Preaching to the choir. And we're going to go over there. Go over here. Yeah, but I wouldn't want to play if I could only hear out of one ear. Come on. Needs to be quicker. Need to be quicker. Need those headshots. Needs to be faster. Faster, 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 faster. The only problem that we do have, this is probably a good example of it, is with... Boo! With, like coconut shy, innit? Damn it. The only problem that we do have, as far as what JJ was talking about, as far as executionist side of things, I'm just gonna have a wet water now to finish that level. And one of the, I'll wait until I've got my headset back on. One of the problems that we have with trying to pursue executioner, I'm sure Jonathan Jimbo will agree with this, in Purist. It can be done, it's not that it can't. But executioner bonus takes a hit again. One of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give you, Marcus, is Siege. Siege of Heaven is the place that you go, or was the place that I went to learn how to abuse slow time, because if you want to play that mode well, if it has any part of your interest at all, you need to be able to slow time, and you need to be able to slow time well. One of the problems that you have with trying to marry... I'll wait for Sean. Yes, Sean's quite right. The more you use, the more it becomes integrated within what you're doing. Yeah, I know you know where this is going, but it's probably it's a good idea for me to say it. Get on, Camille, get that 100%. So, yeah, as far as execution is concerned, as we know, hitting the slow time button actually extends the time that you have between your shots in executioner. This isn't a great place to stand and talk because there's a massive choir down there. So yeah, the problem that you have is by not having slow time within execution, you can't extend the executioner timings that you have. We're already cutting it very fine with being able to keep your executioner going. However, without slow time, we're not able to stagger it a little bit. We're not allowed to buy those precious extra seconds. If you didn't have slow time in Siege, we would not be seeing the ridiculous scores that you see in Siege, which is why I say it's a good place to practice. However, I'm sure somebody would be able to do it, but still, I don't think the scores would be as good. Right, I think the way that we're going to play this is... We'll see. If I alert the knights, which will be by accident, I will be binning this off quite quickly. I know we're only at cycle 2. I can't afford to be losing lives. That's not worked out well. Don't like that knight. So we've got our little triangle set up there, which is nice. Try and stagger Mr. Kiddens now. Good. Deal with these boys. We'll put a shot in each at least before we headshot them. Just watch the videos, my dude. The videos will tell you everything that you need to know as far as Siege is concerned. Well, nice. Oh, now he's interested. Okay. Gonna have to deal with him. Finish up that guy. And we're going up tops. Where are you at, knight? Yep, it's all those things that JJ just said. Elite Jonathan's actually one of the newest additions, as it happens. I mean, you know, I'm sure even Elite J would call himself a seasoned veteran of Siege, because in essence he's only just started as well. But one of the advantages that he has is he's got the ability to talk to all of the big boys as far as Siege of Heaven is concerned. Did I hear one on the left? Yes, I didn't. Yes, I didn't. So now is the problem. Where is the best place for us to engage these last archers? And I'm thinking it's probably going to be in here, but we'll see what sort of time we've got to deal with them. Come on. That's one. That's bad. And we're going. So we're going to deal with these archers as best we can at a distance, he says. Thin the numbers a little, just so I don't have to deal too much. I'm going to put Anakin into a state of play where he's almost dead. That was a headshot. That was a good headshot. You can have some too. So again, look how risky that was. This is a lot more tough than I thought it was going to be. Literally no breaks. Right, I will go back through all of this as any of it's directed at me in a moment. Just want to make sure I get this guy done for max points. There we go. So that's the last one. Gonna need another wet of water after this. Bad. Oh, forgot about these. I think most of the other spawns are going to be plenty far enough away. I think that'll do us, because I feel that the further that goes, the longer that goes on, the riskier it's starting to get. Right. Whew. Right. Wet water. I'll have. Wow. You can snipe. You can snipe in Siege, JJ. You know just as well as I do that those Sniper Tempest shots are the boys. So do be clear on that, because sniper long range and sniping Tempest headshots are all key to decent scoring in Siege. But he is quite right. You shouldn't be... There are shots in that game that I would consider sort of like 50-50s as to whether I'll even hit, let alone a headshot. Oh no, I'll take my breather as I'm playing. No, that will be exactly the reason why. If you use your slow motion, it was that 2 seconds. Let me just make sure I've got nothing breathing down the neck. That was Marcus, wasn't it? Yeah. I have lots of videos up, Marcus. The one that I would push you towards would be the beginner video that I have on Siege of Heaven. Not that I'm calling you a beginner, not by any stretch of imagination, but if slow time and headshotting are things that you are working towards, they are definitely necessary things that you need to be starting to embrace now. Come on then. Oh. Don't know if you guys just saw that or not, but my bow just desynced. That was horrible. Didn't have the ability to pause on this one, so I had to pause on the other one. No, as I said, it sounds like, as far as Siege is concerned, you are past the stage of the somewhere to start from that I have in the playlist. The beginner is probably badly named, because you wouldn't be a beginner at Siege of Heaven to be extrapolating the lessons from it. But that's the one that you wanted to be looking at. And then I've got another one that is intermediate and advanced. Where's that? That sounds close. So again, rushing, taking risks that I didn't need to be there. Silly, silly boy. Silly, silly boy. So calm. Calm down. Yeah, nice one, Camille. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, just then, you'll have seen me moving a little faster than I should have been. And this is one of the things that I know I have over Beanie, is that when he starts going fast, he carries on until until he's dead sometimes. I've seen it. But yeah, this whole berating yourself, or not berating yourself, but having a word with yourself. You know, first stage of madness, maybe it is, I don't know. But for me, it's like, right, I know I did that too quickly. I know I should be settled down and calm. I'm probably still buzzing a little bit off of Anakin, because that was a reasonably decent milking effort, I feel. But we're also no hits tonight, and I want to keep it that way. What we like for battery, I'd like to get a cycle out of the way, you know, as well. Plenty of time, plenty of battery. Don't think we'll get a cycle out of the way. We'll definitely get here done, though. Easy. So yeah, I just want to now slow things down, because this level is dangerous to go fast on. We should all know this. Going fast on Paradise Lost is how you get your ass handed to you. What's that? Does that buff me? What a cheeky knight he is. How's he seen me? Right, so this is a good configuration for me to demo on. If I ever go back to doing videos, it's one of the things I'm actually going to do, is I'm thinking of doing like possibly even shorts of each of the configurations of each levels and the route that I would take to bust them wide open. On this one, I would go either around the outside that way or around the outside that way. Usually I go round the left to the right, because it brings me back to where I want to be. I would take as many of those guys out as possible, just because it means that whilst I'm doing my thing on my route, it means that, like that guy isn't taking up part of the number 17 rule. Anyway, so I go all the way around the outside. I wouldn't bother about those things yet. We've got a much better position to have a take on them. I would come back to where I made my entry, where I'd made my beachhead, and I would go up there. And I'm not going to go straight in there. I'm going to try and angle and nip onto this little side here, and then we can walk in. We can have a look and see what we're dealing with. We can also get an angle, which means that we're not going to be sending arrows shooting down corridors. And then, right, so we have a new beachhead established, and I'll go round again. Now, I know there's lots of enemies down that way, and I know there's that guy close there. We'll jump across there so that we don't alert anything. No worries, dude. Hang on. The number 17 rule is that there can only be... I mean, this 17 rule can be broken. I knew how to break it in various... I have definitely alerted things there, so we'll wait for them whilst I'm talking. Just going to have to be very careful. The number 17 rule is that the game is designed, and partly because of limitations of the software, to only be able to handle 17 enemies in your immediate vicinity. It can only bring 17 enemies into the game at a time. I will tell you, sorry, I missed the name there. Just make sure I didn't do that. Casey Ketley, I will talk to you in just, or Casey rather, I'll talk to you in just a minute. The question on the table at the moment was, I'll talk to you about Cupids in a moment. The question on the table at the moment is 17, and why is it important? So, as I was saying, 17 is the amount of enemies that can be spawned within your vicinity, i.e. the amount of enemies that the game can handle that can be loaded up. It's probably, the game's probably able to handle more than that. I know it's able to handle more than that because I've had more than 17 been looking at them, but I had to do a lot of messing around to do that. It was using summoners and getting lots of minions summoned. Now, yeah, that's fine. Sorry, did I say orphans? I knew you meant Cupids. Yeah. So as I say, it's 17, and the reason why it's important is because you can kind of game it. Not taking the headshots tonight, these guys. Now, as far as Cupids is concerned, you should always be aiming for the headshots, especially at distance. When they get close and they have your number, just put them down. You will be able to put them down with a full draw body shot for a very, very, very long time. There does come a time where you do have to start getting headshots on them. But as I say, you want to be aiming for the headshots, but know that they are not easy shots to make. And it's one of the reasons why A, this level doesn't score very well, and B, why a lot of people lose life on it, because you are going for that headshot and you manage to get it, but you've spent too long lining it up and you catch one of those. So my advice would be, if they teleport down your throat, just pop them in the body. If you're a little bit more experienced, aim for the head. If they're at distance, start your first shot at least headward bound, because there's no reason not to aim at the head, but be ready with the follow-up shot to either put them down, or better yet, take your headshot. If you miss it, tough luck. Come inside, wait for them to teleport in, and then you might get another chance at a headshot or just a body shot. The one thing that I will say about them being close, thank you, that was a great example, Mr. Cupid. The one thing that I would say is, when they are incredibly close, you have a very small window when they're alerted to actually hit them in the head clean. Past that, they've got their arm in the way, they've got their bow in the way, their wings getting the way. One of the things that I found is going for the upper right quadrant. So if this was your Cupid, you don't want to be... If this was your Cupid and that part was the head, you don't want to be aiming directly at the head. You want to be aiming, again, like with ghosts, I mean, with ghosts, you aim slightly to the right of their little white spot, but with cupids, I like to aim up and right a little bit, and I find that more often than not, when they're close, I'll get the headshot. But then this is the problem, is this level can absolutely tear you apart if you keep headshotting cupids and not getting them. Trying to headshot cupids and trying to get that extra little bit of score is what will cost me life on this level. I will guarantee it. Right, you're having one in the back of the head because I'm feeling this one. All right, front of the head, then there you go. So again, 2 trailer park girls. Around the outside again. We do all of this. Go around the outside. We go onto these balconies. We're looking up and we're looking round. We're making sure. It's also kind of worth, as long as you are clear above, don't start looking over the edges when you're not clear above. Again, that's where you'll get pegged in the back. But you want to be looking down and you want to be looking around. So with dead center with a ghost spot would be a good shot if the ghost has not been alerted and is facing you. However, when they are coming at you, what do? They have an arm outstretched and their body slightly pivoted to the right, which is why we want to be shooting slightly to the right of them. If you shoot slightly, it's only marginal as well, I might add, but if you shoot slightly to the right, you will get more... Oh, good headshot. You will get more... There's another one out there that I didn't see. That guy there. He just spawned in as well, which is lovely. Wait for those to sail, and then maybe we'll have a pop at him. There we go. See, I would have said that was a headshot, but I wasn't up and right in that one. I just wanted to get rid of him. But yeah, with ghosts, if you have a look at a series that I started and then I kind of didn't finish because I felt it was a bit boring, but I've done a short on minions in a minute. I've done 2 of them, and one of them tackles the problem of ghosts. If you have a look at that one, that'll inform you a little bit more, because I haven't got a ghost as an example, basically. Otherwise, I would be happy to play around and potentially risk some life to give out a lesson, as I always would. But yeah, you want to be slightly to the right. I think the other thing that I will say, Marcus, is I think it's as much to do with... This is risky. That's not too bad. The other thing that I think it's to do with as well is the hitbox more than the actual visual motion. I think the hitbox is slightly adjusted as they are coming towards you. But yeah, if you think about the white bit and the black line that is in that white bit, I always aim for the right of that. Well, that's my point of aim anyway. Right, come on, let's deal with you. Crack this level. Let's see. So she just spawned in. That means that there is a lot of enemies above me, and they'll either just drop in like that, or they will spawn in via the black mist. This is also why, because of that rule of 17, why you'll find areas that you have cleared have been repopulated, because all of those enemies above are still above. And there might be 1 or 2 enemies that, because of where you were, they haven't spawned in yet. When you go up and kill everything, the rule of 17, you know, there's no longer 17 enemies around you, so they all start spawning in. And that's why they do it. So we're going to wait for that Banshee to go on patrol, because she's coming back. Lovely. We'll take that. To be fair, it looks like an eye. I don't think I've had a look enough, actually. But yeah, no, that's quite a cool detail. There are, because I don't know if we know or not, a lot of enemies got a graphical update in the Desolation patch. Knights look a lot better than they did, a lot more detailed. All of the archers have had quite the overhaul. I believe even the cherubs look better than they did. This is a bad place to be because I've got a massive amount of cover and I don't trust these walls anymore. So that guy almost had us. That was risky. But again, leaning and shooting saved my bacon. Those ones it works particularly well on. but it's still risky because they shoot straight at you, but it's faster. If you are quick with it, you can get out of the way of it. But yeah, as I was saying, knights had an overhaul. We'll go and have a look. Archers, as you can see, had a massive overhaul. You can actually see like the stitching and the trim within those. Those guys used to be just red with a little bit of black, and now they've got like golden embroidery on them and everything. Even the brown monks, well, basically all the monks got an overhaul as far as their dress is concerned. So did the Banshees. The Banshees got a bit of added makeup and became a little bit darker and a little bit more fleshed out. The only enemies that didn't, I believe, were ghosts, incubi, and skeleton archers and warriors. Now, everybody hates skeleton archers, and I think they're definitely one of the ones that should have had a makeover, because they don't look so great, especially as skeleton warriors. They are in need of some love. So what we're going to do here is, because there isn't any easy ways up here that are going to afford us a lot of cover. Most of the options up to here are bad. I think we'll take that one out first. If we get enough of an upward angle on that one, regardless of whether we miss him, we're not going to alert any others. I will, since he's by himself, sort that guy out. Take out the sentry, so to speak. And because I've killed a couple of things over here, this is where I'm going to probe. So what I'm planning on doing is going up here, having a look. If it looks like it's going to get hairy, I'm coming straight down. And we'll work it from here. Yes. So, arrows into floors. Sorry, I just checked the other ones. I don't think there were questions. I think there were more statements. Yeah, any sort of glowing eyes on any of the skeletons would be nice. It'd actually be nice for them to have different ones, maybe red for archers and, I don't know, green for knights, or the skeleton warriors, so that you can differentiate, because sometimes they look very much of a muchness. But the model needs an overhaul. The weaponry, the shield especially, it needs to be sorted. So, sorry, I've forgotten now. I'll have a wet water whilst I'm watching. So I'm having a look. So, on the table we have, can you alert enemies by shooting the floors below? At much, much, much later cycles, not that I've really tried it, but I would imagine you may be able to, because their alert radius and their alert sensitivity is a lot higher. I can tell you that hitting the crenellations, these little buttressy things, or battlements or whatever, but the individual blocks I believe are called crenellations. Hitting the crenellations will alert the thing the other side. Sailing an arrow over the top will obviously do so. Hitting underneath, not as often as you would think. However, there are certain arrows, and I'm sure you'll be able to name them all, that would do the job for us. They would include something like pegging a pestilence there, or a curse, anything explosive, so catalyst, anything that would go through, so tempest. Even an incursion, I don't think incursions would be set off though if you put them up there. So there are a lot of arrows that would do the job. Another one that should work as well is actually Hand of God, because I believe once an enemy, I've always Hand of Godded. That's something I'll test later actually, but I haven't obviously got any Hand of Gods at the moment. But I believe if an enemy is touched by a Hand of God, then because their life bar has come up, they would technically get alerted. That's something I'll have a look at later, actually. I want to test that now that you've mentioned it. Because you should, in theory, you can definitely put a a Hand of God bubble up into the floor, and then it would slow the things that are on there because of how the area of effect works. Whether it would alert things and bring them down to you, I can definitely tell you it would take a while. Right. Remember how we played this one last time? I'm not doing that again because I mean, to be fair, I didn't hear the one that got me, so it wasn't too bad a play. But we've got cover here. I don't like this play, but let's attempt it anyway. And if more than one of these jumps down my throat, I am out. I'm gone, especially if I don't get any of them. So we were also, like, those long-range headshots, even I consider myself a little bit blessed if I'm knocking those out of the sky. I'll be honest, especially on a level like this and a mode like this, I'm just happy to get headshots. So now that we've taken those 3, this is usually how I would approach this next section. So you've seen on each instance of this floor, I've gone round the outside, check the outside, up. Round the outside, check the outside, up. On the second floor, it's round the outside, check down, check up, and have a good look around. And then when you're on top floor, again, round the outside, making big use of that building at the back there because there's a lot of cover. This next one is an absolute arse if you enter it over there. So if you can get rid of those cupids, you can then get yourself, and you aim high on, that wasn't the shot, I wanted to go here, but I hit that instead. And we want to go here, but well, it's not too bad, we've only alerted a couple. Let's wait for them, see what they do. Tell you what, if I'd have had that bloody Bluetooth headset in, wouldn't have heard that. So from here now, we can slowly start cutting the pie. We can also, God, they're loving behind me. So what's happening there for those of you who, like, one of the things that I am finding is higher cycle cupids do that. I've said before that certain things are forced to jump into your gaze. Now, we had cupids in our vicinity, and as I was looking here, technically, because I can't see it, but I've watched on replays, technically that is still in view. So what will have happened there with the cupids is I'm firing, the cupid has decided to teleport, I've moved to here, and he's already decided where he's going, and that's why he's teleported what seems to be behind me. But their usual behavior isn't that. They don't usually try and teleport behind you. They try to teleport to within your gaze. Keep the questions coming, guys. It's keeping me and repeat anything that I haven't gone over or answered yet, because it's keeping me nice and settled and concentrated. It's definitely got my eye in tonight, hence why I haven't lost any life for a change. Yes, there's not a massive amount of enemies here, Sean, but this can be a pain in the arse. There's not a lot of cover. It's not a great place to fight. From here, don't usually do this, but this, analysing it, seems like a better option than just jumping straight up there. And again, you know, we're having to play these things to not shoot me through that wall. Okay then. We're having to play these things a little bit differently. That one's not bad. This one is probably, it's probably just as bad. That one's probably best. So once we've cleared all of that, having a little look onto there, there's not a massive amount of area that the enemies can get into, and we should be able to line them up and take them out fairly easily. But let's carry on where we were. Make sure we got the last of these. There's one. Let's get a long-range headshot on him. Nice bit of scoring. Checking those corners for the cupids. And there we go. Section 2. What we like for battery. We're good. Oh, easy. God, I might be able to even get Abyss in the pit done like this, right? Okay. So this one's a not exactly an easy prospect. Now, as far as Purist is concerned, I do not want to wang a load of arrows over there and come back here and wait for everything to come into me. Yeah. Cheers, K2. I think so too. Or is that you are? Yeah, just I was way ahead of you there, dude. So yeah, I don't want to fire shots into them and then have to deal with them all over here. That is a play, but that's more of a play when you've got slow time. Right now, we want to be trying to just deal with them as we go. Oh yay, an orphan. So again, cutting the pie. We're going to try and... Now, this isn't a bad place to fight from because we've got a decent amount of cover that we can retreat into and a reasonably good firing position. She might even be down there, you know. So this might get really hairy, really fast if I'm not clever. But what we're going to do, take that one out, take that one out. If you look at these arrows, a lot of the time... This is getting risky. A lot of the time you can see where they're coming. They're slow enough that you can follow them in. That's the other thing that Cupids will do if they can't teleport to you, because I have narrowed the options down unless they're willing to teleport into solid rock, which they are usually not. Oh, she is down there. Gotta go. Risky, risky. Right, so risky plays. And it's cost us. But only one. Hopefully. And for what? As LG would say, for what? 25 grand. So, problem that I had there is not identifying exactly where she was. Trying to deal with too many of the threats before I go down there and finish her off. But still got 4, right? Still good. I'll just lose 1 per cycle from this point onwards. Now look what I'm doing. Bad plays. That was all very risky. And I'm terrible, and I know Beanie is terrible for doing that. So he'll take a hit, and then all of a sudden he'll like try and throw it all out the window to try and bring it all back, or something along those lines, and it just results in more hits. So have a little moment, because I didn't want to take a hit there. I really didn't. But again, you look at the situation I put myself into there in comparison to the pit situation that we had. It was taking unnecessary risks that we did not need to take, and it didn't pay off this time. You can't score well through gambling on this. This is not the shot that we want to take, because if we miss it, it's only going to be sailing over and alerting lots more Cupids to come down our throat. So let's deal with those ones. I do like playing on the edge. That is quite right. It's how... I mean, I've also... Hello. Also got to consider that I don't want this to be slow, monotonous and boring play. There's lots of people out there that do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just not what I want to do. So, we're going to have a quick look in here. If there's too much for us to deal with, if there's not, we'll disappear. I think we're good. This room can be absolutely packed, and on any mode, I would say you cut the pie slowly, but I would reveal the entire corridor before you fire a shot, because there can be like 8. See, there's another one down there. Come on, out you come. Come on, don't be shy. Damn it. There we go. I've seen your videos, K2. I like watching them. See, the thing is, a lot, like, you know, maybe I just need to get over myself. Maybe whatever it is that I do, people like watching. Maybe like this is what people like to see, the slow and methodical play, or just it being live. But then you've also got to have, yeah, I don't want to be out there anymore. You've also got to have, it's got to be enjoyable for me as well. But my enjoyment comes from others watching. So as long as everybody's happy, and I keep getting the numbers, and I keep on getting people watching and turning up, so I'm happy. But yeah, a lot of it for me is I do a lot of watching of my own stuff, or was rather, because of the editing process with the videos that I do. And, you know, and now I can finally appreciate after quite a while how much you guys have to deal with listening to my voice and my droning continuously, because I've had to do that for years. So I know how bad it is. I know what it's like. But then it's extenuated when you are having to listen to the same lines over and over again whilst you're editing or cutting or what have you. But hey, who am I to stand in the way of what people want to watch? I'll just play what you guys want to see, and try and spill the beans as much as I can on what I'm doing. Not you. I'm going to wait for you, though. He's behind there. So, oh no, there you go. Misidentified, but I knew he was close. The reason why I knew he was close is because I heard his bow go, and then the arrows immediately clatter into something. Oh yeah, all scripted. Just like the videos. Let me just check my notes. So we are slowly clearing what's up there. What I would do here, again, even I'm looking. What I would normally do is jump up there, kill everything up there, secure that platform, and then fight through here. That would be my normal play. But again, I'm having to think a little differently and a little bit more, because I don't have the slow time crutch. So I would have said, that tower's looking quite inviting. Let's go and have a look from up on there and see if it'll allow it. Might not. There we go. See what we're dealing with. So we've got a Cupid, we've got a Banshee, Archer, Cupid, another Archer. Now what this allows us to do from this angle is I can land exactly where I want to, within reason, which will actually be that corner edge, because both that tower, it is open on all sides bar the one that we can see. It's actually open on the right. So we don't want to teleport deep. We don't want to teleport near, because we'll alert everything down the corridor. So what I would want to do here, we can take that Cupid out without having to worry too much, as long as we nail him. As long as we nail him, there we go. And then we'll take his place. And I want to try and get right on the edge, right on the corner, right here. And then I've only got him to deal with, and I can smoothly tuck on in into cover. And then we can deal from there. Get them headshots. Lovely, lovely. Yeah, that seems like a better way to do this. To do that little section, with the fact that we are purists. Now, this one's always a risky proposition. Normally, I like to either go up there, or fight into that a little bit, or go up there. And of the options that are available, going up there, if I alert things in this, they will chase me out, and there's a lot of Cupids over that side. Going up there is a safer option, because I'm less likely to alert the things, and there's a lot less in the ways of Cupids up there. So I'm going to take the left this time, because I'm feeling it a little bit. I'm not going to worry about getting headshots on them. I just want to secure my beachhead. Now, if we wanted to, we could start fighting all of that down there. I don't want to. I want to fight what's up here first. I want to clear my immediate before I start messing around with luring things up here and risking things teleporting on me. That knight is looking like a decent shot. And also some very cupids. And the background again. Right, there's one up there. We'll have him. Woo! That's a good one. That's, in fact, actually, with the things that I was just saying, just secure this beachhead. It's awfully humid here, so I'm making sure I stay well watered. Yeah, the last one is really well loaded with enemies. You are quite right, Sean. But we're slowly but surely. They are on patrol, so they will slowly but surely start filtering out here. If you're talking about this one, that one, not so much. I know there's 2 cupids at the top, so we don't want to send any arrows sailing up there, really. Now, got him. I said about berating yourself to slow things down, having a word with yourself, taking yourself to one side. Fuck's sake, why do we take that here? Right, slow it down, nice, calm, careful, breathe, do whatever it is that you want to do about all of those things. But also, if you are going to berate yourself, you celebrate as well. So, for instance, oh, come on. If you get a particularly long-range headshot and you are happy about it, you let yourself know. Celebrate the good shots. Celebrate the good times. If you are doing well, celebrate that factor. Temper it with not getting overly excited and then rushing. But yeah, celebrate the good times. Especially if you're going to berate yourself on the bad. Now, we will take these guys once we've got the angle on them and there's not a lot else going on. Don't need to worry about that axe, that's going to hit the side. Now, we've cleared a few of the enemies in there. I don't really want to teleport across that side because I know there can be a lot of cupids around there. So we will cut. So those cupids I was talking about. And we haven't done too bad there, it's just a couple of knights. And as long as I can keep those shots on them, I won't alert the bottom one. This also gives us the option to take out the cupids there from a decent position, I think. We don't need much of a shot to take them out. However, if I can get through there, nice little double gap shot, well, single gap shot really. No, they don't count. But firing through those slits, so to speak, is going to make their return fire, which isn't that accurate at best, even more difficult to hit you. So that is a good proposition for us. There's a lot more down there as well. I don't want to have to deal with any of that yet. Although we did. Celebrate a lot of did let a lot of banshees on the way past there. Oh, hello, Krasmax. I didn't realise it was. Yeah, of course. You, to be fair, you actually say every time you come in, and you didn't this time, and that's what's thrown me. Hey, dude. I will make a point of remembering that. No, the thing is, I would never, like, I'm not going to say, oh, no, you didn't, I came up with it, or, you know, you're copying me, or what have you. The thing is, that the way that I am doing it, or the way that I'm going about it, to me, is logical. Logic should dictate a course for you. Yeah, logic should dictate a course for you. Oh, that was good. That was a good one. That was worth celebrating. That was a lovely shot. Not a lot of headroom. Had the angle right. Yes, we like that shot. Not so good a shot. But anyway. Oh, hello. So, yeah, this is the way that I would do it. And it's again, with Purist, it's all about maximizing scoring potential whilst minimizing risk at all times. Except, as we are finding out quite quickly, orphans are still and always will be quite a big problem in Purist. So what we got there? A couple of those and a witch. So my options here are to teleport across there and fight them that way, in which case we will definitely alert them all, and they will have angles on us, or we'll take that one out. You can hit them in the wing. Yep, that's the way to do it, mate. As I said, you know, there's only so many ways you can skin the cat, so to speak. And if you can make it simple and easy and mitigate the risk to yourself whilst skinning said cat, well, yeah, of course you're going to do it that way. Now, damn it. As we know on this level, this one is one where they love to respawn. Ooh. So I don't know where that is, so I am moving very far away from wherever it is I was. And I caught the sail, which means that he's below there. Or I caught the sail of the arrows, and there he is. So, last couple to deal with, then we'll most likely go down the bottom. Just lost interest. Which they do from time to time. Nothing down there, so we're all good there. So we'll take some distance on him. That could have been a really great shot. Ooh. Tell you what, my tracking's a bit off tonight. And my bow teleport once and it just caught them. Only real thing that you can do if you ever lose tracking in either of your hands is immediately hit the pause button or the Oculus button on the other controller. That'll at least pause the game for you, and then hope that things improve, basically. Right. Whew, there we go. Well, that's not too bad. If I can continue to only lose one life per... Good question. What is my score, Rob? So 927,174. So we're not far off the million mark. So we're doing okay. But we've got plenty of cycle 2 to go yet, so we should be all right. I'm going to want to push him off to the right. In some of the demos that you'll have seen me done. Oh, and I know he's spawning here because I can't move into that. Might even get a bottom tickle here. You're in for a treat. Ooh. Oh, pushed him off there. So we want to push him off to this side because of the factor that there's a lot more pillars over here. I also don't like the fact that he's straying off to the right. Now, here's something that you won't have seen done. Watch what I'm doing here. Tell me if you can see it. May have just made Gabriel a much easier prospect for a lot of people. But if you can combine your locomotion skills, he doesn't know what to do about this. I'm afraid you are going to lose this game of chess, young Gabriel. The only problem with this technique is it's difficult to get the moving headshots. But then this is the difference, Sean. I've been playing this for years. Oh, almost years, and you, sir, have not. This isn't a bad way to take out Gabriel, but the headshots are difficult to hit. And literally all I'm doing is I'm staying tight and giving Gabriel plenty of real estate to move into. He is trying to get into the center of my vision, and I'm stopping him. But we still have to be careful, because he'll still attack. And I do not want to eat any fireballs. This was actually, this is probably the first time I've shown it off, but this is something that I was reserving for purists. I haven't seen anybody else do it. But, as I say, the headshots are a little bit more difficult. But I'll explain what I'm doing if it isn't apparent in a minute. Back into line of sight. No. It's not great on a scoring line. There we go. So yeah, literally, I have taken a pillar. This is all bore from T-Bowls, Tiff getting destroyed by Gabriel. And when people get destroyed and they say, like, how'd you do it? Well, then I start going into self-analysis, and then I usually find something out. So the play here is to move between these pillars, using them as cover. One of the problems that you can get is if you stay behind the same pillar for too long and give the airspace to the left, he can literally, I'll get to that in a second, Marcus, he'll literally keep on traveling to the left. To make sure that he comes to the right, we have to give him the real estate to fly into, and we also need to stay tight to this pillar. And he will attempt to move, I don't know if you can see my hand, but he will attempt to move into that, that's probably better. He will attempt to move into that middle distance. As he is squaring up, if you then move your gaze away from him and look to where you want him to go, but obviously make sure that this is in the way. Remember about gaze and how the enemies have to use it, follow it, attack you from it, or teleport into it. And they will do that little thing. Grab a quick bit of water. Not that that was... And yes, you can block fireballs. If you block them like this, but it's risky. If you block them too close, because the fireball explodes on the shield, you will still take a hit. If you put the shield right out in front of you, there is, I don't know, there's a good chance that you'll block it without taking damage, because the blast, the explosion of Gabriel's fireball hits the shield, explodes on it, but the explosion would only come to here. It kind of penetrates the shield, but not far enough to hit your hitbox. The same is not true of the Incubi. Incubi's fireballs will literally go straight through. The reason why the Incubi ones do and Gabriel's probably don't is because Gabriel's ones are homing. So what you want to do is a combination of, just before we go, combination of the tactics that we all preach on Gabriel is you are, let me just center up here and use my bits and pieces, because that might be part and parcel of the tracking. If you are looking out here and you're attacking Gabriel, doing the good stuff, and then he casts his fireballs, I've said to turn in and look away. That way, because you are out of his gaze, if he is coming down with his sword strokes, he cannot hit you through here. It's when you're like that and he's hitting you, if you can basically make eye contact with Gabriel, he can hit you with that sword. It will pass through. With the fireballs, what I like to do, because if you've left it a little bit late, the fireballs, as you are coming round, can snake round here. They will do that if you have left it too long. And that's why, because I don't want cheap hits, I will pop my shield up and you'll see that I wouldn't put it where I normally do. I put it right up in front of me, and that's to potentially catch a fireball that might snake round. Because I've had it, whether you probably all have, where you're bam, 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 bam. Oh, I can just get one more. Oh, I've left it a little bit late getting back for the fireballs. That one's coming round, and it hits you. So just putting that shield up there can, you know, it can reduce the chances of that happening. But as I said, do not rely on blocking Gabriel's fireballs with a shield. 16th of July 2020. Silver Tongue Devil quote right there. So what I would like to do before we run out of battery is get to cycle 7. However, that's probably going to be a little bit difficult. What I would like to try and do, so I'd like to try and get the pit done, and at least this first section. But I think we're going to be going a little bit slower than that, so we shall see. I will call it, because this, you know, the score's all right, so for purists, so I don't want to drop it. No worries, dude. To be fair as well, you know, I haven't put that in any of my videos as far as the fireball thing's known. Beanie's got that in one of his videos that he's done on Gabriel, which is a really good video if you're looking for additional tips on Gabriel. I've never put that in any of mine because I do consider it a bit of an advanced strategy. It's not particularly easy to pull off, but you do need to be reasonably dexterous and be happy with your controlling. But the reason why I do love pushing the limits, the reason why I haven't really mentioned it up until now is, as I say, it's a bit more of an advanced strategy, which didn't fit within the last videos that I did. You wouldn't, right? So the last videos that I did that had Gabriel, I had the high score one. These are the ones I can remember anyway. I had the high score one, which you would want to slow time him with Hand of God, and you would want to headshot him because that's the way to score very well out of Gabriel. As you'll have seen there, I wasn't hitting a particularly massive amount of headshots. I was getting a few, but not as many as I would like to. Oh, he's got alerted. Didn't like that. The other video that I did, so that was based on scoring, and you wouldn't use that technique to score well. You would use that technique if you were playing at high level and you wanted to, you know, have a bit of an easy ride of it. Did I just hear... Is that who I think it is in the chat? I've got to check that now. That sounded like Mr. Courtier. Sorry, dude, I was fighting knights, if that is you. It is! Hello, Mr. Courtier. How are we doing? Yeah, you don't need the shield, and it's not something that I would recommend. You let them smash themselves against the pillar. I hope you just saw that. I hope you've been lurking for a little while. I've always said, hang on, I got to see it a second. Laurent, I hope. Yeah, sorry. I've always said your name in my head when I've read it on Facebook, so I just wanted to make sure. But it's Laurent or something along those lines. I'm sorry if I've butchered the pronunciation. But yeah, you might want to have a look at the Gabe video or the Gabe thing that I just did, because I showed off something a little bit new. It was only like a few minutes back in the video. Ooh. Getting complacent, having a chat, getting complacent. These are all recipes for losing life. That's a bad shot. That's not too bad. That's a bad shot. Look, see, look at those skeletal models. They're rubbish. Want better. Oh, oh. Oh. Zigging and a zagging. So again, you'll have seen that as I was teleporting past them to make a break for here, I was slowly but surely... Ooh. Oh, these guys are feisty in Abyss. I was slowly but surely lowering myself as I was doing the actions. It's something that I highly recommend. It definitely makes the difference in whether you get hit in those situations or not, I find. And as I say, literally all I'm doing is just ducking, squatting in real life. Don't neglect the leg day, and you will be fine with these maneuvers. Don't know what I'm talking about. I don't work out at all. I work out as VR. Do get plenty of squats out of VR, though. Make a point of that. So this was the easier config that we were... The looking away isn't for the fireballs, Laurent. The looking away is actually for the sword swipes. But no, you're quite right. You don't need to look away for the fireballs, but just in case, I've always said, always break line of sight with him, just in case you can't read Gabriel quite as well as you should be able to. You're fine. You know what attack's coming in based on the posture that he makes and the noises that he makes. But my point with that is that if you do, it's good training basically for anybody going after Gabriel, is if you always do the same motion regardless of the attack coming in and they are both effective, then keep it simple. I wouldn't want to tell somebody to go, oh, if it's fireballs, all you have to do is tuck behind the pillar. But if it's, hang on a second, sneaky, if it's fireballs coming in, then all you have to do is this. But if it's the sword strike, then you definitely need to look away and tuck in. I'd rather just say, when you are being attacked by Gabriel, tuck in and look away. And it just makes it, I think, an easier process. But then this is the thing, Laurent, is you've been playing for a while now. You've seen a lot of the things that I've done. I dare say you've probably even taken a couple of things from what I've done and used them yourself. And then when you start getting to the higher level plays, you start seeing that Silver-Tongued Devil was full of shit. I don't actually need to do this little bit. I don't need to do that little bit. And the fact of the matter is, you are quite right. The reason being the way that I teach that way is so that as you advance as a player, there are certain things that I will give you that are like training wheels or water wings or whatever you want to call them. And when you recognize them and you are ready to throw them off, I don't need to do anything more. Haha! It's all part of the plan. I don't know, maybe I'm an asshole for teaching like that, but, you know, I'm not a teacher, so, and I'm all you've got, so there you go. But yeah, there's a lot of things. To be fair, most education is done that way. You learn to a basic level so that you can understand it, but they don't actually inform you of all the things that are going on within what you are learning. There might be a graduation ceremony. But it'll basically involve a lot of booze and dancing girls and less hat throwing and actual certificates. So, you know. There you go. Or I'd imagine so anyway. That'd be the kind of ceremony that I'd be talking about. Sure. Yeah, yeah, of course. Cool. No, that's fine. Let's take a... You're on the way, Marcus. There will be no graduation parades. Oh, that's bad shots. Yes, he can, but that is part of the reason... Oh, I'll wait for you guys to finish. So that's actually part of the reason why you can be snuck up on. That'll be because, like, Tiff had a problem with Gabriel. So the problem with Gabriel is he is a really easy boss until he's sword stabbing the floor and it all goes fucking horribly wrong, right? I've been in that situation. Problem is, it's at like cycle 15, 16. In fact, the last bow run that I did, I think I died on Gabriel 16 or something along those lines, and it was because I wasn't employing what I did, which was another reason why I went out to make sure I knew how to control him. So if you are behind the pillar and you look away, okay, what happens? Well, as you just saw, let's say, for instance, Gabriel is that white tower there, all right? Now, Gabriel is now behind the pillar. If you are looking forward, Gabriel has a little bit of open space on both sides of the pillar, right? Because he has that open space, he could go left, he could go right. So if we make a point of giving him just one side to move into, then he is forced to move that way, right? With me so far? So on top of that, if we are then looking in a direction whilst we are behind the pillar, he is again forced to go that way. You are quite right in that we don't need to turn away and break line of sight on the fireballs, but you definitely do on the sword swipes. But I would even go as far as to say, I would still, knowing what I know now with Gabriel and a bit more about how he works, turning during the fireballs is still a good idea. So there you go. I have both spilled the beans on my teaching technique and also destroyed my own argument for not doing it in almost the same sentence, but it's what I do. So there you go. But yeah, there's that, you know, the thing is that, oh, I forgot about those guys. Oh, we want points. Oh, we definitely want points. I'm not going to fire any silly arrows into there. We'll play this a little smarter because I don't want to lose any life on this. We'll go at this angle. We'll get his attention. And then as soon as he teleports, we'll drop back. Lovely. Good job, those aren't skeleton archers. You are welcome, young grasshopper. You can call me Sensei when I have my black belt, and I'm a long way off of that. No, I mean, yeah, the Gabriel is, as I say, he's yeah, you don't like the reverse one though, Sean. Gabriel is easy. Gabriel is a very easy boss, probably one of the easiest in the game because we know how to abuse him. But he is only easy until he becomes an absolute fucking nightmare. Once he starts becoming an absolute fucking nightmare, you are done. If he can, at highest cycle, if he can get just one cast down, it can be game over because you just can't recover. Are there enemies? Are there enemies? Any enemies that I'd sweep the leg? Who do you think? Fucking skeleton archers all day. And then a swift Gakazuki to the stomach of the to the abomination that pops out. Yeah, that'll do us. We're going back up there. Quick. Thank you. So this is a little bit. This is one of the things that Beanie was covering. Oh, sharp handle on that axe. This is one of the things that Beanie was covering, and that he likes to approach this bit a little bit different from me. I can do multiple approaches. It's, to be fair, a lot of it's basically on what I'm feeling like on a day, or what I fancy showing off. Well, you say Gabriel's unpredictable, but that was before you saw what I just showed off, right, Sean? Would you say he's unpredictable now? Because I wouldn't. Damn it. Gotta be careful, because I might have alerted those archers down the bottom there, because there's definitely archers down there. Right, we are low on battery, so I've probably got enough time to finish this. Well, plenty of time to finish this, and then we'll maybe chat about a couple of things that we've been going over. Once I wrap things up, because I don't think this bit's going to take us very long. So yeah, again, I like to come down here. We don't want to deal with those guys, and I think we alerted all the cupids. You can get a decent angle on the cupids from here. These cupids can actually be a massive pain in the arse. It doesn't matter what side you push Gabe off. It doesn't matter what side you push Gabe off, really, but the right-hand side of the level, as you enter it and as you are looking at Gabriel, I believe is better. But I only believe that one to be better because there are more pillars to skip between. And until I just showed you what I just showed you, having pillars to skip between was what I thought was good play. And it is. But then using those pillars correctly, you'll see that you can do it. And yeah, as I said, because of Tiffany was having difficulties with it, T-Balls was having difficulties with Gabriel, is part of the reason why I made a point of finding out exactly how his movement worked. And again, like all of my best discoveries, it's usually whilst I'm doing a video for you guys, or someone has a problem, and I try and answer. Hang on 2 seconds, Sean, just because I've got an incubator to deal with. And this guy. Down you go. Right, let's get some distance on this one, and then I'll... So that's not a bad shot. God, I forgot. It's not cycle 6, is it? That's the bow run. Oh, I thought I was in. Hey, there we go. I need a bit of water. What did you just say, Sean? Yes, the left side does have the lower rock. But yeah, the only reason why I would go... So yeah, you from the tower, you teleport down to Gabriel, and the Gabriel right-in is in the middle in the front of you there. And I would aim to push Gabriel to the right. So you would start off on his left and stay close to him, knowing that as you stay close to him, he moves away. And as he keeps on moving away, you then teleport next to him, and he'll move a bit further, and then next to him. Make sure you stay in front of him, don't teleport past him, otherwise he will move away from you. I swear I just heard a monk then. No. And then, yeah, we want to push him off of, again, as we were looking, so we move to the left to push him off to the right. But if you are using the technique that I just showed you, that isn't quite as important anymore. Oh, forgot about you. That was silly play. Let's wait here a minute. There should be an archer either coming around or teleporting in. No, he's not, so we'll go and get him. Or did we get him already? Or he might have teleported. There he is. Hello, Weevil. Thank you for joining us. We're almost done. No, 9%. I can get so much done on 9%. Oh, right. Yeah. No, that is a good point, actually, as well. On the left of the level, there are floating rocks. On the right of the level, this is Gabriel, by the way, for those just joining us. On the right of the level, there aren't any floating blocks. And if he did do a sword stab into one of those floating blocks, he would be able to summon his minions. So yes, that's probably an even better reason to definitely go to the right. No worries, dude. Thank you. Most appreciated. Again, we shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be trying to manage two. We should be trying to manage one, because then we can assure ourselves of getting the headshots. Then, of course, means we get points. One of the things that we'll be able to do when we go back to Sanctuary is be able to check my score, see where I am. See how I stack up against the best. In Purist. Right. No, it doesn't shut off at 5%. It's all good. I've had it down to, even with streaming, I've had it down to as low as 3%. The one thing that I am finding is the further the battery goes down, the more the unit seems to struggle. Like, for instance, when it gets to low power, I think, so that it doesn't just shut off, there must be some sort of battery saving things that kick in. So, yeah. Right, let us rest in Sanctuary, and let's see how we did. Because we can have a look at my score from here. Any last minute questions before I go, or anything that I didn't ask, please ask it again and I will try to answer. So we're at 985,288. Oh, we didn't make the top of the board. Boo. Yay, 17th. Very, very good. So there we go. I mean, I appreciate the chant. However, Red Battery would disagree with you. So, yeah. Excellent, Weeble. I'm glad to hear you've been trying out the things. So, yeah, here we go with stacking up wise. Nice you say Mimi. I know he can do well at Purist. I've seen him. He's very smooth. Who are we coming up on that we know? Stanky Storms, Up from the Depths is a name that I see a lot. There is our target, Chicken. I'm no LG. Who else we got? Katie Dillinger there. There's Atlas. There's old Mr. Fish himself. Cool. I think we should be able to make top 10 next one of these. So if you are up for Purist, then we will do some more Purist. The next, whilst I have some of you here, as you may well know, the next stream that we are going to be doing is a very, very, very important one for my humble little channel. The reason being is because if I can nail this next stream with a game called Sweet Surrender and get lots of interest and lots of people looking at it and lots of chat, as just basically all the things that you all do in the chat already for me, if I can get that into the Sweet Surrender one, it gives me a fantastic springboard to do more of what I'm planning on doing with the things similar to the Sweet Surrender stream, which means key giveaways for you guys, and also potentially getting people who wouldn't look at IDU looking at IDU, and that's also what we want to do. So what was that last question before we go? You have to scroll down a way to see me. I don't think there is a way to scroll on it, unfortunately. But yeah, so Wednesdays are coming. Book it in your diary, 8 p.m. Wednesday. I'd love to see you all there. I'm hoping there'll be some new faces there as well. And you'll also have the opportunity to possibly win a game or two. Well, there's going to be, I think there's going to be at least 3 being given away across the stream. You will need to be into the stream and you will need to be listening with a chance to win. So yeah, thank you all very much for showing up. Good night.